Meeple Village. Today we are going to be reviewing Unmatched. That's right. Unmatched is a game for 2 to 4 players. Takes about 20 to 40 minutes. I have two of the many sets that are out there already, and based on these two, I'm going to let you know what I think of this game. So join me at the table and let's review Unmatched. Alright, so Unmatched is a game where you are trying to defeat your opponent or opponents. If you're playing a two-player game, then you are one-on-one versus battle, trying to defeat your opponent down to 0 from whatever health they start at. And if you're playing a four-player game, then it is a team battle, and you will help your teammate to achieve victory by defeating the other characters in the game. Now, let's talk about what's good and what's not so great. What will give us the force, and what is going to turn us over to the dark side. So first of all, let's talk about mechanics. Now, the mechanics are pretty much hand management. You're going to have different cards in your hand, and you're going to use those cards in order to move the game along. With that said, every character has different abilities and is going to play thematically, making it, well, hard to know or to get to know each character and the mechanics for each one. So it might take you a couple of games before you're comfortable with a specific character. That kind of complicates things for new players. What about setup? Setup is really simple. You're going to have a battlefield, a board, and each set, at least the ones I have, come with 2 different battlefields. So you get to pick which battlefield you want to play with. You're going to place your characters out on the battlefield, and then you're going to shuffle your deck, draw a few cards, and you're done. Setup is completed. So yeah, that's an easy one. What about gameplay? Well, we talked a little bit about it during the mechanics, but yes, gameplay is very asymmetrical, meaning that each character is going to have different powers, their cards are going to be completely different. So you're going to have to get to know what your character is all about. Some characters are really good at attacking, some others, like Sherlock Holmes, a lot of his cards, they let you guess a number because he is Sherlock. And some other characters are going to, instead of being really good attackers, they're going to want to deplete your enemy of cards, because if you run out of cards, your deck runs out of cards, then you start taking damage, and it's easier to, well, get rid of you. So that asymmetrical is really fun. I gotta give it to them. Knowing your character, getting to know your characters is fun. It's fun to play with different characters and feel like you're playing a completely different game. That's great. However, yeah, it is complicated. It's hard to get to know every one of those characters to a point where you're really good at it. And if you're like me, I like to try different characters. I'm always switching around and never get to master one fully. So I lose a lot, but that doesn't mean I don't have fun. All right, player interaction. Well, player interaction is exactly what it should be. Take that. You're constantly trying to hit your opponent, or at least trying to affect your opponent in a negative way. So if you like that kind of thing, then great. But if you're not into take that stuff, then this game might not be for you. Let's talk about the end of the game. By the end of the game, you're going to have a clear winner, and that's great. You're going to know exactly who won. The problem with that sometimes is that there's no catch-up mechanism. So if you really get ahead, your opponent is going to start feeling like, do I really want to play this anymore? They are just beating me down, and there's no way out of this. So be careful with that. But most games that I have seen, they're pretty even. So, you're okay. You take a hit, but you also get to inflict a hit. Let's talk about difficulty. I've already mentioned it. Difficulty in this game is high just because you have to get to know those cards and what they do. I remember trying to play with new gamers, new players, and they were all really, really confused and looking at me like, you want me to do that? Also, even for players that are more experienced, you have to read that card and try to understand it if it's a game that you just picked up. It's gonna take you a while to, oh, what does this all mean? This long, big text on those cards, some abilities can really have a lot of stuff. Some of them are easy, you just attack with them. But a lot of them, it's gonna take a little bit of time to get used to. Replayability. The replayability in this game is super high, because depending on what character you pick, what battlefield you pick, and also the luck of the draw and what cards you draw, each game is going to feel completely different, and that's great. That keeps me getting back to playing more Unmatched. What about cleanup? Cleanup is super simple. All you have to do is make sure your deck is together, then put it in the box. The box comes with really, really, really nice insert. And that's part of components. So let's talk about that. Components in this game are top notch. You get miniatures, really cool. They have this kind of nice little looking color. I'm sure if you paint them, they'll look great, but if you don't, they still look pretty good. Now I've seen some people sell because during your game you're going to have a main character, and then you usually have sidekicks. And I've seen some people selling miniatures for the sidekicks, so I wish the game would have come with those so you didn't have to go and buy those outside of the game. But if you're okay with just what they have, the components are sturdy, they look nice, but yes, your sidekick is just going to be a flat token that's going to parade around the board. So in that respect, minis would have been nicer. But the insert, wow, that insert is really cool. Everything fits perfectly. You keep every character separate, and every character has its own place. Now, with that said, I don't know about you, but when I get a game like Unmatched where the fun is in mixing characters from all different sets, then the characters are not going to fit in one box. I like to keep them all in one box so that when I want to play Unmatched, all of my characters are there and I can pick a match from all of them. But the way the insert is created, you really need to keep your games separated, or you're going to just throw them all in and well, the cool insert no longer will work for you. Overall, Unmatched is a fast-paced game where you are just engaged in thematically. You are living that character. You're attacking with that character, and if you get to know him and you get to know how your character acts and reacts, then you are really going to have a lot of fun playing this game. I love that the game goes by really quickly. Some games can be a little long, on the longer end, but most games go by pretty quickly, and you are seeing action all the time. It's a fun game. I love all the different sets and just putting all these different characters together that usually you would not see together in a game. That's fun too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and it helped you to clear up some doubts about if this is a game for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Join us on Twitter and Instagram so you can see more run-throughs, more reviews, more playthroughs, more fun stuff here at Meeple Village. I will see you guys on the next video, but until then, may you play more games.